Is TikTok, in fact, actually going to be banned in the US? Well, there's a recent court ruling that makes that more likely than ever. And so if you haven't been following this, and I have a feeling you probably have because you clicked on the video, but also it's TikTok and whether it's banned or not is super important. Back in April, Joe Biden signed a law that would require the platform to be sold or that it would be banned within the United States. The date that the company needs to sell by is January 19th. Right before Donald Trump takes over, suspiciously close to it, actually. Though the law does allow for a 90-day extension if the government sees that ByteDance, the company that controls it, is making progress towards a sale. So at the time, the CEO responded and said, "Rest assured, we aren't going anywhere. We're confident and we will keep fighting for your rights in the courts. The facts and the Constitution are on our side and we expect to prevail." Well, maybe they will, but it's not looking like that at this point. A federal appeals court did uphold the law requiring the sale or ban of TikTok in the US. And so in the court's ruling, Ginsburg, a Republican appointee, rejected TikTok's main legal arguments against the law, including the statute. The statute was an unlawful bill of attainder or a taking of property in violation of the Fifth Amendment. He also said the law did not violate the First Amendment because the government is not looking to, quote, suppress content or require a certain mix of content on TikTok. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. I don't think that that's the only things they could do that should be considered a violation of a First Amendment. Shutting down a platform seems like it could arguably be that. But anyway, they weren't buying it. And so TikTok has asked a court for a pause on the law that would require them to shut down next month. And so I don't want to pretend that there's not still legal hurdles that they could potentially pass or that they wouldn't get that extension and then maybe use that time to either spin it off or potentially delay even further. But there's now been a couple of potential obstacles to the ban that the government effort to ban it has passed. And so it's seeming a little bit more likely than it was before. What do you make of all this, of the case against TikTok and whether you think it's actually going to be banned in practice or not?
I mean, they're going to try to ban it or they're going to try to convert it into another X where they can go out and give out bad information, because TikTok is a place where a lot of people get information that they're not getting in the news. There are a lot of people who are being outed on TikTok. There's a lot of information that are given to the American people that are not. That is actual factual information that they're not receiving in other places. And I think that they believe that TikTok is dangerous, not just because of the China component of it all, but because it is a space where it is a great equalizer where people who are being suppressed on X and on Meta are saying things and giving out information, and not just all about government and politics, but hacks that help people save money, the information on health. There's a lot of things that I have found out about how to work through ADHD that has helped me from TikTok, just how to save money, how to make things happen. It's just a place where those influencers are really creating spaces and giving out information that you don't see elsewhere. And so I think that that's very dangerous to a government that's trying to employ very authoritarian type of rulings in this country.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's great that you have benefited from. I know a lot of people have. I don't have time, unfortunately, to keep up with TikTok. I spend too much time on Reddit apparently. But yeah, for a lot of people, I think it is super helpful. And that's not to say that it doesn't have downsides, that disinformation doesn't spread or whatever. It definitely does. For me, like when questioning it potentially being banned, I just immediately think, well, what's going to take its place? Because people are going to be desperate for something to take its place. And maybe it'll be one of the established ones, Reels or Shorts. But I also think, is there literally any chance that Elon Musk, the neediest person in the world, isn't going to try to replace it with something on Twitter? And I think that's guaranteed, and it will definitely be worse. In every possible way, it'll be worse than TikTok. So while TikTok isn't a thing that I actively use or whatever, and I think that there are legitimate concerns about it, I think that whatever comes from the ban will be much worse, and not just for the people who have a problem with TikTok. And I also point out, because I saw people talking about in the chat, Trump was an advocate for banning TikTok. And then one of the guys behind it or whatever, who has a bunch of money invested in it, told Trump not to be. And so Trump was like, oh, okay, whatever. I have the exact opposite opinion, which is how he's changed on crypto and how he's changed on a lot of different things. He's one of the easiest people to buy in American politics, part of why I think the myth that he's authentic or honest or whatever is such a weird thing to believe. But anyway, we will be seeing, we're basically in like Judgment Day. We've got, slightly more than 1 month until the current scheduled period. I do think it's likely that that will be extended, but we certainly don't have a long time before we figure it out.